What's going on, YouTube? You tapped in with your boy Big O, watching another episode of UTV, the TV you can feel and see. And just as promised, I'm going to keep y'all up to date with the FBG Duck / O Block 5 murder case files as they come, when they come. So with that being said, before we kick this one off, don't forget to smash that like button on your way in. And we just about 250 subscribers away from being monetized. So with the help of y'all here today, that can be easily achieved. And like I said before, if you've been rocking with the campaign, man, don't forget to smash that like button. It really do help the channel grow. So let's dive right in. Now, as y'all can see here, today is October 27th, and this paperwork just landed about 2.5 hours ago. 2:23 p.m. It's currently 5:10 p.m. I already got it queued up, so let's check it out. As y'all can see here, boom. This docket entry was made by the clerk on Friday, October 27, 2023. Now, this was made from yesterday's court hearing, which was the 26th. Entry before the Honorable Martha as to Charles Liggins, Kenneth Roberson, to Carlos, Christopher Thomas, Marcus Smart, and Ralph Turpin. The court held an in-person hearing on 10/26, which was yesterday. The government's motion to recall law enforcement officers is granted with no objection. Defendants reserve the right to make additional objections at the trial. Number 2, the government's motion to omit certain acts as direct evidence of charges, offenses, or an alternative pursuit to the Federal Rule of Evidence 404B, which is docket number 209. Now, if you have been keeping up with the channel, we already read out docket 209. And if y'all do want the link so y'all can get over here and read out these dockets so y'all to know which motion and what it pertains to has been passed and denied, I'll leave it in the comment section below. But 209 on the docket, so y'all can check that out if y'all want to, as it relates to evidence of fraud to its defendant, Orford. Now, y'all know that car situation. He tried to get that motion to suppress that evidence. As you can see here, it was denied. Bam. The motion has been ruled on its entirety. So everything in that motion has been denied. C-338. Now, the government Santiago Proffer 191 is granted in part and denied in part and continued in part for the reasons stated on the record. Now, like I said before, y'all, man, all lows is on the record right here. And if y'all want me to read through all these after this video and relate them to them, hold on, let me show y'all 191 real quick. So, and relate it to y'all, I gotta buy it and relate it to y'all. Just drop it in the comment section below. Just give me 15 comments that say I want to check it out, and I'll go ahead and show y'all these in grave detail on what motions and what it pertained to. As it relates to, but that was granted in part. Government's reply to 308 are granted in part and denied in part and continued in part for reasons stated on record. Let's check this one out. As to defendant Smart and Liggins' motion to reconsider suppression of MW, which is docket number 314. And for those that don't know, MW is Martell Wiley, who is Trench's News. All right. And 347 are denied, which means, y'all, Trench's News, 100% fact, will be forced to speak in trial. All that bullshit, him saying he got a choice to speak and all that, man, knock it the fuck off. If he had a choice to speak, this wouldn't be going on for a federal motion. This is a federal motion. So yes, he will be forced to speak due to the fact that his identification testimony suppression motion that Smart and Liggins put in has been denied. As it relates to, okay, so Trench's News for show. Now, number 6 consolidates the motions and limiting to 238 as it relates to the dying declarations. Now, this is the big ticket. This is also one of the big tickets. Let's say that. This dying declaration is going to be one of the most swaying things to the jury, if you ask me, but it hasn't been passed just yet. As you can see here, the dying declarations in the authentication is continued for the reasons stated on the record. So far, two motions is still in the air and hasn't been passed or denied. Roberson's motion to suppress evidence 253 was previously denied on another date for the reasons stated on the record on that date. Now, huge filings, y'all. Now, if you have been keeping up the channel, I'll let y'all know how this thing is going to play out just off of how they said it in the last motions. The first people that is going to talk here in this case, far as testimonies, is going to be gang experts. After the gang experts speak, they're going to bring in either cooperator number 2, which we have no idea who that is, or they're going to bring Trenches News in next. They're going to bring in cooperator 2 and Trenches News after that gang expert. And the reason being is because they have to do things in chronological order. I take that back. Let's take that back. Okay, I said Trenches News come after that. No, Butter comes after the gang experts. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I don't got time to edit that one out. But Butter will come after the gang experts due to the fact that Butter actually laid down the history between STL and O Block, the war and the rivalry. Butter went to speak about how Kyra killed OD, ultimately starting O Block, right? And then Butter talks about how Vaughn killed Kyra and shot him in the knee, ultimately laying down the groundwork in the history behind the feud of both of these gangs. After Butter speaks, then it's going to be Trenches News and cooperator number 2. Why? Because they can speak on the inner workings of O Block, speaking that it's an enterprise and how they were engaged in racketeering activities. And after they speak, it's going to be Teasy, and then Teasy baby mama, and then the old security guard from O Block, due to the fact that the only thing that they can speak on is the identification testimony of Muwap and them, far as the death of Duck. So this is how it plays out. The gang expert going to talk. Butter is going to lay down the history. Trenches News and cooperator number 2, which we do not know who that is. Cooperator number 2 is going to lay down the inner workings that O Block is a enterprise engaged in racketeering activity. And then they're going to follow up with the identification testimonies from TH, which is TZ baby mama, and the old security guard of O Block. All right, that is how they are going to do it. In fact, guys, they even said it in this last motion. As you can see here, permitting witnesses to testify in episodic fashion has been approved in cases before, right? Then it goes to say the investigation in this case was lengthy, complicated, and involved numerous avenues of investigation. For example, different law enforcement witnesses participated in investigating different conduct by different defendants and other individuals associated with the O Block enterprise. Now, this is the most important part here due to the fact that the only other people that's in this case that spoke to investigators that is associated with the O Block enterprise is only Trenches News and cooperator number 2. So that lets us know that they're going to bring these two guys in after they talk to the gang expert, because as you can see here, this court has substantial discretion to determine the mode and order. Let's read this really quickly. The government expects that it will need to call at least one or more law enforcement witnesses, Christine, during the trial investigation. But the reason behind this, as you can see here, permitting witnesses to testify in episodic fashion has been approved in cases before. So basically, from time to time to testify about individual transactions in chronological order. So that's why they're going to let the gang experts speak on their acknowledgement of the gangs in the Chicago area, and then they're going to bring in Butter to talk about the history, and then they're going to bring in Trenches News and cooperator number 2 to talk about O Block's inner workings, that they're a racketeering enterprise, And then they're going to bring out the identification testimonies about the murdering of Duck. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, cooperator number 2, which we do not know who that is, but they are still a so-called O Block member. That information will be released here pretty soon, and the only way you're going to find it is here on this docket. This case will not be televised at all due to the fact that this is a federal case. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to be notified in real time as these case files come, when they come, simple. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure all post notifications is set to all so you will be alerted each and every time I create one of these videos. You can just check right now. Nobody else on the internet got this paperwork out right now. Just search for it, guys. You may see some people put it on the internet a couple days later or the very next day, but nobody gonna have it on here on the 27th for sure. So with that being said, if you're rocking with the campaign, smash that like button, and I'm gone.